It gives me good pleasure that I am joined with a living legend in the wrestling business, and I have to say he's without a doubt one of the most entertaining managers I've ever seen. So I'm honored to be joined with one of UWL's very own, the Gentleman Jim Chadwick. What's going on, sir?
Thanks, Kenny. Those are awful kind words. I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir, for your time. I truly appreciate it. I truly.
It's my pleasure to be on the show. I've heard a lot of the other guys that are on here, and let me tell you, you do a wonderful job, and I really enjoy seeing you at a lot, and I mean a lot, of the UWF shows, and I certainly hope you enjoy yourself. You seem to anyway.
And as a fan, I truly enjoy the UWF shows and enjoy your work as well. And to hear that from a legend, that definitely means a lot. And I just do what I can just do what I can to spread the word of all things indie pro wrestling, interview wise. And I do promote UWF on this show. So thank you and the rest of the UWF roster for all you do.
You're very welcome.
And before we get into your wrestling career in UWF, I just wanted to get your thoughts on what happened to another wrestling legend, as in Jerry the King Lawler. It was a scary moment this past Monday night, but obviously, as of right now, he's in good spirits. He posted a tout video. He's all right. What was your reaction when you seen what happened this past Monday night?
Well, he's been really active in the ring as of late. He's been doing a lot of indie shows, and I guess what he has to learn, like the rest of us, when you get a little bit older, it's kind of hard to hang with the young boys. And I think that's probably what happened to Jerry. He kind of overextended himself somewhat with this whole CM Punk deal and everything else last week and again this past week. And I think he just overexerted himself. And the old ticker just said, Jerry, it's time to slow down. But thank God King is alive and he's getting better.
Absolutely. It was definitely a huge concern, no doubt about it. Michael Cole, I mean, I know people don't like his character on television, but I think he did the best he could as considering the circumstances, and there was no commentary for the last hour to hour and a half of the show. What's your take on how WWE handled the whole situation?
I think it was extremely professionally done and very well done. And something else that a lot of people may know, this was also the anniversary of Owen Hart's death. And this reason they handled it so very well. They didn't want anything to interfere with what was actually going on, and they really strived to show that it was not a work. That the whole WCW thing 2 years ago, as you know, with Ric Flair suffering the heart attack, that was all part of an angle, and a lot of people were really skeptical that this was also part of the show. And if you DVR'd it, go back and watch the show and listen very carefully. Not too long after the King and Randy Orton were involved in that little skirmish, listen closely, and you'll hear Jerry King Lawler hitting the floor from his seat from the broadcast table. And Michael Cole was very, very professional. As you mentioned, a lot of people do not like his character. He's doing what he's told to do. But the other night, you could see that Michael Cole was extremely concerned with Jerry Lawler's condition.
No doubt about it, but I guess at the end of the day, he's doing a lot better, and he's been doing this for 4 decades. He's 62 years old, and it's amazing that Jerry, at that particular age, in his 60s, that he can hang with the young guys. I remember the match he had with the Miz. I think the last year, a TLC match. I mean, he held his own, no doubt about
Absolutely.
it. And Jerry King Lawler, God bless him. I hope he's okay. I'm sure everybody hopes he's okay. and he just need to take all the time off that he needs. Don't even worry about not a champions. Just make sure you're 100% healthy, and when doctors say you're good to go, you'll be back on the booth. But just focus on getting 100% healthy.
Absolutely.
That's the main goal. So, Mr. Chadwick, what made you decide to get into the wrestling business?
Well, a little over 34 years ago, I was working at a local radio station in a little town called Stanton, Kentucky. That is about the same time, right around 79, 1980, somewhere in that area, that ICW with the Pompos, they were running their little outlaw promotion. They stopped by a local radio station, bought some advertising. Randy Savage came by and promptly kicked in the studio door, and he asked me later that night if I would care to go to one of the local shows and be the ring announcer. And one thing led to another. I was later, more or less like anybody else that has paid their dues over the years. I was a ring boy. I put the ring up, tore the ring down, became a referee, became a wrestler, became a ring announcer, became a gopher, whatever it took. I had the wrestling bug. I'd watched Lawler, Dundee, Austin Idol, all of the Memphis greats for years, and I never really considered getting into wrestling, but, the bug hit me that night, and I was hooked, along with Lanny Poffo, Ronnie Garvin, Pez Watley, Ox Baker, the whole crew. Pez Watley, Rip Rogers, and, of course, the Miser. I got in with them, started doing a lot of road shows with them, and went right on from there, and later became involved in the MWA with Del Mann.
What do you like the most being in this business? You like being the ring announcer, the manager, which mostly you're known for, just being on the road? I mean, what do you consider your favorite part being in the wrestling business?
Well, undoubtedly, I love managing, and I love being a heel manager. There's nothing better in the world. You can upset people, you can make people laugh, but the main thing is I get a chance to entertain them. And if I can make their life a little bit better, even though they're mad at me at a show or whatever, ease their mind, ease their pain, take their mind off their troubles, that's what I can do for a couple hours. And I absolutely love it. And also, I love the old school atmosphere of a good, brotherly-like locker room. If you can go to shows like that, the locker room sets the whole atmosphere for the entire show. You have a good locker room, you're going to go out and have 110% better show than if you have, a bad locker room. And I love managing, nothing else like it. But the camaraderie of the old school days, that's something I dearly miss. And I'm working hard right now with the UWF trying to reinstill that type of atmosphere in those shows. And right now, it seems to be working. But undoubtedly, I love being a heel manager.
And talk about the position that you are in right now, working for UWF.
I have been inactive as a wrestling manager, quote unquote, for about the last 6 to 7 weeks. I am currently booking the shows for UWF in Georgetown, Kentucky, and that's something that I've always wanted to do ever since I got into the business. I hope a lot of other guys will agree with me and not being braggadocious or anything, but I think I have a good mind for the business, and that's what I want to do, is just keep booking great shows, getting the crowds involved in it, and getting the word out about UWF and independent wrestling.
Well, all I can say is I can firmly speak for all the UWF fans that you're doing a fantastic job booking talent, putting the matches together, you and Felony, and y'all keep up the great work. I mean, the matches with Larry and Brian, off the charts, off the charts.
That was one of the greatest programs that I've been extremely proud to be a part of. Those guys absolutely, they beat the living daylights out of each other for several weeks. And Beach told me just the other day in a conversation, he's not done with Larry D. And right now Larry D has got his hands full with Big Dog Cujo They've got their deal going, and this is real, people. I'm telling you right now. A lot of times you can go to matches and you can see some of the things, that it's a show per se and all that. But I'm telling you right now, the heat between legendary Larry D and Big Dog Cujo is absolutely, positively, 150% real. These guys have not liked each other for years. It's been all over the internet. It's been in every single locker room. It's always been the talk. Well, what's Larry D and Cujo going to do this week? Are they ever going to be able to mend the fence and, do the right thing? But I'm telling you right now, Kenny, it scares me. This is one of the matches that could be made. I don't know. I want to see it made. Felony doesn't. So last week, this caused a little stir between her and I abruptly just did what I thought I had to do in my heart, and I quit. I walked off. But I'm reconsidering things. I'm still talking to the board of directors. This is one match, legendary Larry D and Big Dog Cujo, that has to be made. When it's going to be made, I don't know. But it has to be made. Settle it. That's all I've asked from both the guys. I know they don't like each other personally, professionally, but this is one feud that once it gets started, every person in the state of Kentucky should buy a ticket to come to the UWF and see what's going to happen, when it happens, if it happens. Let me put it that way. But if I have anything to do with it, the match is going to take place. But Felony is fighting me tooth and nail on this. The board of directors, they're fighting me on this. They don't want to see it because I don't think the Georgetown Bingo Hall can hold these two. Just telling you right now. But I thought Beach and Larry were bad. These two big behemoths, they ever hook horns, it's going to be nasty. So nasty.
This match, if it was to happen, has Smash Mouth written all over it. And I guess my only suggestion is, if this match were to happen, you better bring extra security.
I know.
Because that could be wild. That could be out of control in a matter of moments. So everybody, go check out UWF, Georgetown Bingo Hall, 150 Edwards Avenue. The doors are open at 6. The show starts at 6:30. Check out your favorite stars, including Mr. Chadwick, Felony Fox, Big Dog Cujo, Larry D, the rest of the Vixens. I just got through talking to Mary Elizabeth Monroe. She's very pumped about it as well. Let me ask you this, Jim. What else you have in the works other than UWF?
I work with the MWA, the Mountain Wrestling Association, which is deeply rich in tradition. It's the longest-running federation in the state of Kentucky, 42 years. And it's owned and operated by Chris Hayes and also Mark Morris. I work for the USWF, which is based now out of Lincoln County. They used to do shows in McKinney. And I'm working on a few other places that I may go back and do some shows for some old friends of mine. They called me up the other day and have asked me to come, make a few appearances. Don't know yet. This booking thing is taking up pretty much my time right now. But I want to tell everybody, if you want to see a great show, top to bottom, J.R. Rock, their champion, John Strange, Steve Marino, you mentioned Cujo, Felony, all of the lovely and talented Vixens. And speaking of the Vixens, we have the top-notch Vixens crew in the state of Kentucky. We got girls that come in here from Tennessee, West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, you name it. They're all wanting to come. They're standing in line right now. We've got big shows coming up that feature all of the women, and the guys will give you 110%. And I'm telling you, right now, UWF, it's hot. It's old school, baby. That's all I got to say. Old school.
Speaking of old school, which you represent truly to the fullest, I like the old school myself. I was born in the 80s. I started becoming a wrestling fan in the 1990s. As a wrestling fan, what's your take on the state of professional wrestling now compared to where it was when you first started?
When I first started, we had territories. You had a town. You had several towns that you ran. other federations, companies, whatever you want to call them, stayed away. And it doesn't happen anymore. Too many companies in the state of Kentucky right now, far too many promotions. Everybody's running everybody's back door, using a lot of the same talent, which there's nothing wrong with that. The only thing is anymore, there are no territories anymore. And that's what I miss dearly about this profession. And maybe we can get back to it. Maybe some other regulations can be made that it's a little tougher to get a promoter's license and start running shows and make it also a little bit tougher. Hold on, let me reiterate on that. Make it a lot tougher for anybody that wants to get a wrestling license and get in the squared circle. Make it tough for them to get those licenses. Don't just take their $20 and give them a license, because there's not many highly trained wrestlers that are getting their license anymore. And they come into the business and they ruin it. They run belt marks. They got to be over all the time. And they don't want to listen to the veterans. They know it all when they come in because they watch it on TV. And they don't want to be properly trained. A lot of the new guys come in now, want to get in a few weeks, train a little bit, and say, okay, I'm ready. It takes a long time, people, to get properly trained and to learn the philosophy and the true meaning of professional wrestling. It's not a game. Don't sit in the audience and say, I can do that. Oh, that was easy. Well, I can do better than this. You never know until you get in the ring. And that's what I tell a lot of people. All wrestling's fake. Brother, sister, either one of you. You want to see how fake it is? Crawl into the ring for about 15 minutes with some of the truly trained wrestlers, and we'll gladly show you how fake it is. And you'll change your mind within 20 minutes. And you'll have respect for it. But the fans now, they're great fans out there. But some of the promotions, well, they turn their marks into workers. And that's the thing that's wrong with professional wrestling today. We got more fans in the back than we do real wrestlers. It can be changed, but everybody's got to do it. Not talk about it. You got to step forward and do it. You're going to step on some toes. You're going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. But you're going to be able to put on a good show, and the fans are going to come back if everyone does it that way. Final take on it. Too many promotions, too many goof-ass workers. Excuse my French.
That's okay. It's okay. This ain't no FCC show, so feel free to curse if you want. No worries, man.
Yeah. There's just, there's too many guys and girls in the business that still need to be buying a ticket. Let me put it that way.
Right. Absolutely, sir. It's like the training wheels as far as people think they can do this. But then when they get up, when the training wheels calls off, it's not as easy as people thought it would be. You gotta have passion. You gotta take it seriously. I mean, it's just like any other job, but this job is more in depth. You put your bodies on the line. You perform in front of the fans, and if you can't do all of that, then this job, professional wrestling is a job. It's not everyone. I'm very fortunate to be a fan. I can't see myself doing those bumps or anything like that. So I'm just fortunate just to be a fan and watch you all do what y'all do best.
Thank you.
So you've been reaching out to fans and want to ask suggestions of who they want to see competing UWF. But let me ask you, Mr. Chadwick, who do you, the promoter, the legend, the icon, who do you want to see competing UWF?
Well, there's several guys that I'm interested in. I'm not at liberty to say right now, but a lot of our fans, the UWF fans, they have the itch right now to see some of the legends. And I can tell people right now that are listening that I have been in negotiations with some of the guys that they want to see. Handsome Jimmy Valiant, Bill Dundee, Wildfire Tommy Rich is showing a lot of interest to come to work for us. Let me tell you who else. Axe of Demolition. And as soon as Rob Conway, a dear friend of mine, heals from his recent injury and surgery, he's going to come to the UWF. But we're going to leave it up to the fans. As far as the legends go, all you have to do is come tell me, and I'll do everything within my power and within the company's power to get them there. There's a lot of independent people that are wanting to come. Lala Lodge, a young lady that was with us earlier in the year, she's coming back, and she's one of the top lady wrestlers around. I've talked to Casey Carlisle, interested in bringing her in. A lot of independent wrestlers, both male and female, excuse me, that have shown interest. Excuse me?
Go ahead, continue.
Oh, I'm sorry. Like I was saying, there's a lot of independent wrestlers. We basically have an open door policy. All they have to do is contact us, and I'll do what I can to see if I can get them booked. I've got a young man that is joining us this Sunday, September the 16th, from Anaconda, New York. Fabulous Frankie Villa is coming in. Now, that's a trip for anybody to make, but he's wanting to come in. I'm also talking to Cecil Brody out of Tennessee. He's wanting to come in. Talking to him. Got a couple of guys coming in from Florida very soon. Like I said, we basically have an open door policy. We welcome any and all that think they can come in and compete with the guys that we have there, because we're out to give our fans the very best wrestling entertainment that can be possibly done.
The bottom line is, to all you fans out there that's listening to this live or may listen to this on the YouTube channel, if you want to see a wrestler, anyone from the indie scene, you contact Gentleman Jim Chadwick, you contact Felony Fox, and they do what they can to make it happen. And that's the type of companies I love when it comes to UWF. They listen to their fans and they deliver. And go check them out every Sunday nights, Georgetown Bingo Hall, 150 Edwards Avenue. Doors open at 6. The show starts at 6:30. I've been a fan of this company for over a year now. And if you don't know, if you're in the Kentucky area, especially near Georgetown, check them out. You have my vote of confidence that this show delivers week after week after week. I wish I can be there every week, but because of my job schedule, I can't. But any chance I can get in there to see some quality wrestling on the indie scene, I go to Georgetown, to UWF. And to you, Mr. Chadwick, I thank you for what you done, representing the old school, blending in with the new school, and best of success to you, to Felony, and the company going forward. Thank you for your time, sir. And again, it was an honor to talk to you on this show.
Thank you, Kenny. And remember one thing. You always have a home with the UWF.
Thank you, sir. And you have a good night. You have a great weekend. And have a great show on Sunday.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was Gentleman Jim Chadwick joining me here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio.